Hello everyone, this is Lerone Kuntz. I'm back here in Fulton County, and as we know, as you may have heard, Judge Scott Mcafee has ruled on the Fani Willis disqualification question. He ruled that she had two choices, either to withdraw from the case and have the case tried by another jurisdiction or get rid of Wade. And so she chose to get rid of Wade. He has already submitted his resignation letter. She's accepted it. So she will be prosecuting, or her office will be prosecuting the case. And Wade is gone. Now, I just want to talk about, the ruling and explain why he did what he did, or why he's saying he did what he did. And he's basically saying that he had three things to look at. Three things that could lead to the disqualification of a district attorney. The first being a conflict of interest, the second being the appearance of impropriety, and the third being forensic misconduct. He took the first point first, conflict of interest. And he has determined that there is no conflict of interest. He gets there by pretty much accepting Fani Willis's testimony that she paid Wade in cash as fact. He acknowledges the fact that she was only able to produce $1,300 in receipts. The charge for an airplane ride that they took together, she had the receipts for $1,300, but the other thousands of dollars, she did not produce any evidence that she paid Wade back, other than her word that she paid him in cash. She had no physical evidence, she had no receipts or anything like that. She said that she paid him in cash, and as far as Judge Mcafee is concerned, that's good enough for him. Even though there's $15,000 still on the table that seems like it's going in her favor, he takes her word that she paid him in cash thousands of dollars, even though there's no evidence that she paid him in cash. All right? And I find that peculiar, because if I came into his court and someone was suing me for $2,000 and I said, Judge, I've paid this person already, but I paid him in cash, but I don't have any receipts. I don't have an ATM receipt. I don't have a bank withdrawal receipt. I have no receipts, but my word, I'm telling you that I paid him in cash. I don't think that Judge Mcafee would rule in my favor. I think he would say, pay the man. You owe him $2,000. But in this case, he appears, in my opinion, in this ruling, that he accepts Fani Willis's testimony as fact, even though he also says later on in his ruling that there's untruthfulness in her testimony and in Wade's testimony. He acknowledges that it looks as though they weren't telling the truth, but he still says that there's no conflict of interest, and he even goes a little further and says that, I think he's saying, even if there were conflict of interest concerning the money aspect of their relationship, it doesn't affect whether or not the defendants are going to get a fair trial, or it doesn't affect the due process that they're going to get, or they have gotten. So for those reasons, he does not think that she should be disqualified. And he says that they haven't proven that there's a conflict of interest, because pretty much they haven't proved that she didn't give him the cash. I don't understand what type of proof he's looking for, because they have the receipts that Wade paid, but they don't have any receipts that she paid. For him, that's not proof. She says she paid, that's good enough for him, so there's no conflict of interest. Fine. Then he moves on to the appearance of impropriety, which Fani Willis was saying in her motion that that's not a reason for anyone to be disqualified. If there's no actual conflict of interest, then the question of the appearance of impropriety should not be enough to consider disqualification or to rule to disqualify. Judge McAfee says, yes, it is enough for a person or for a prosecutor to have the appearance of impropriety. That's enough for me to disqualify. So he's asserting his authority, saying, yeah, I have the authority to disqualify you for that. But I'm not going to do that because there's a better remedy than disqualifying you from the case. I can give you the option to either disqualify yourself or to withdraw yourself and your team or to get rid of Wade. So he's saying that that is the best way to go about this, is that gets rid of the potential appearance of a conflict of interest by getting rid of Wade, because he's the person that's being paid by Fulton County. He's the person that was untruthful on the stand and lied about his divorce interrogatories and then lied about lying on the interrogatories. So we're going to get rid of him, and that's going to remove any conflict of interest or the appearance of the conflict of interest. And that's the best way to do it because it still leaves everything intact. The defendants are still going to get their due process. So that's what his remedy is for that aspect, appearance of impropriety. Then he goes to forensic misconduct, which is the fact that there was untruthfulness in his eyes in terms of the testimony concerning their relationship. And it also goes to Wade's interrogatories where he lied, Fani Willis's judgment not to put on her disclosure forms that she had received gifts from Wade. It covers that. And the judge is saying pretty much that that's not enough of an issue to disqualify. And he says that, and the same thing Fani said in her brief to the court when the judge was deciding this, she was saying that there has not been a case in Georgia where a prosecutor was on her level, the DA has been disqualified for forensic misconduct. So the judge is saying the same thing. He's saying, like, I really can't find any case law about this. And for that reason, I'm going to turn this over to the Bar Association. I'm going to turn this over to Fulton County commissioners and let them deal with the perjury or, the other things as far as her not submitting the disclosure and her not saying that she received. I'm going to let them deal with this. But one of the things that, is interesting is that Trump's attorneys were saying the reason why you don't have case law on this type of forensic misconduct and people being disqualified for this, because we've never had this in Georgia before. We've never had a DA to do the things and say the things that she said and get on, the stand and not tell the truth and have a DA, assistant special DA that she hired that's lying on sworn documents. We've never had this. That's why you don't have a case law about this. But McAfee is pretty much saying, well, I'm not going to be the first one to bring, a disqualification over forensic misconduct. And part of forensic misconduct also includes the speech that Fani Willis made at the church, where she injected race into the case by saying that the reason why she's being attacked is because she's a black woman and because Wade is a black man, and I hired 3 people. I had a white woman, a white man, and a black man, and they just want to go after the black man. So she injected race. McAfee is saying, yes, she did. She did, and that was wrong. And he's saying that, and it was a direct result of Miss Merchant's motion calling into question their relationship. So Fani Willis in her brief was saying that this had nothing to do with that. She was talking about the county commissioners and a congressperson when she made those statements. But the judge said, no, 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 no. It was about this case or this charge of conflict of interest that triggered you to make those comments at your church, right? So he checks on that. But then he says, being that she did not name the defendants by name, that he doesn't see this as a reason to disqualify her. And in terms of what the defense was saying about the defendants not being able to get a fair trial because what she said, the remarks she made, taints the jury pool, the judge is pretty much saying that he doesn't see that as an issue. He's saying that, the way I'm reading this, he's saying that we're not impaneling a jury right now. It might be months from now that we impanel the jury and maybe people will forget about this whole church thing and it won't be a problem. If it's a problem when we try to panel a jury, then we'll deal with what she said. But right now, I can't see any reason why not to have this case move forward. So that's his rationale. He feels that, I guess he feels like when we start questioning people for jury duty and we ask them, did they hear this church speech that Fani Willis made on Martin Luther King Day, January 15th? And they say, yeah, I've heard of it. If too many people say that and they can't impanel a jury, then he'll deal with it. But right now, he doesn't feel like that's a big issue. So for those reasons, he is saying that she doesn't have to be disqualified, and that if Wade leaves, then that will remove any conflict of interest or the appearance of conflict of interest in the public's eye, because the person who's receiving the money, the person who's prosecuting the case is gone. So he won't no longer be being paid by Fulton County, so the conflict is gone. And he also went as far as to say that on the stand, Fani Willis said that this whole hearing concerning relationship strengthens her bond with Wade, and they'll be friends for life and all that stuff. He said for those reasons too, that it's going to leave in the voter's mind or the citizen's mind that, yeah, there is still a relationship going on there. So to remove Wade gets rid of all of that appearance of a conflict of interest. So that is sufficient. That is the most that he can do. That is the best solution to this situation in his eyes. And he threads the needle. So I think that there's a reason that he did what he did, and the reason why he ruled the way he ruled. And I think it has an effect on his prospects of retaining his position as Superior Court judge, because the election is in May. It's coming up soon. And I'm going to tell you why I think that he ruled the way he ruled in the next video. So if you're interested in that, just click on the link and we'll talk. But as far as this is concerned, this is what he did. And that's all I have to say about this right now. And so thank you once again for tuning in. Thanks for coming and checking me out. And I appreciate y'all. And as always, until next time, peace and stay safe.